They're safe, and they're not really even safe space to be around because they don't know how to interpret data, and there's something inside of them, some sickness, endemic disease, that causes them to be accusatory. No, you weren't safe. No, you didn't do this. But then you get into the details and you say, well, actually, if that guy was the professional, the motor would shut down on the interstate. If you don't go down a ramp without brakes, you don't have to worry about losing control. And the air brake notice gets on, you probably want to check your air brakes. So the fakes end up in this world falling in that category that Jesus said of actors, hypocrites, bad actors. There's a couple of Catholic actors. I always laugh when I get interviewed and talk about their faith. Because sometimes somebody says, oh, man, you're an actor. But see, you need people even in Hollywood that project the virtues that people are living in real life. And that's the difference. Is Catholics, Christians, people who live the faith of the Torah, even authentic Muslims, if they're a peaceful Muslim, not willing to shed blood unnecessarily, and I say that specifically, but they keep Torah, then they're living a moral minimum. The Jews, who is a Jew? For sure, Malowski's not a Jew. And I'm not even going any further than that. For sure, in my mind, Ben Shapiro's not a Jew. He would claim to be a Jew, but I think he's a white boy, and I think Candace Owens is a Jew. But I wouldn't dishonor him according to the Torah. I wouldn't deprive him of his life, of his property, of his liberty. But I don't have to confess him as a Jew. I can say, you think you're a Jew, but to me you're not. I think Candace Hudson is a Jew. And I think I'm a Jew because I'm a Catholic. I think as I received the Sacred Heart, God circumcised me in the heart and made me one of his elect. But if you want to call yourself a Jew, that's fine. I'm not going to say you can't. But I'm also not going to give you the deed to my house just because you say you're a Jew. And I'm not going to give you my money that you're not owed for just any unnecessary reason or because you say you're a Jew. And I'm not going to fail to prosecute you if you steal from somebody just because you say you're a Jew or you're a Gentile. Like, I don't know who the Jews and the Gentiles are. I'm not God. But I'm also going to keep the Torah because I might be a Jew. Way back in the back, the genealogy of things in my family tree and not know it. And you might be a Gentile and not know it. Or we all are Jews and Gentiles. Either way, if you're not keeping the Torah, you're certainly not a Jew, no matter what your grandmother says or what you look like or the dude at the temple says. The rabbi, it doesn't matter. If you're not keeping the Torah's minimums, you're not a Jew. You're a fake. And so white people who are using the term Jew and violating the law, you're not Jews. You're criminals. Let's get that right. And that's not anti-Semitism. That is Judaism. Keep the Torah. So you claim to be a Jew, but you violate the law and you kill people? And you think your white skin or your brown skin or your black skin is applicable to the equation? You're violating the Torah. You're a criminal. So no. Improve. That's aspects of it. 12 tribes. Who are the Jews? I don't know. What is the standard? I know it's the golden rule at some level, and the Torah seems to be proper. And if I follow all the other laws that are good, then the good rules will apply. It's time to operate procedure. And the good rulers will be over you and under you and around you and on your team. And you'll be a good learner and a good leader yourself. And you rule over some equipment. Hopefully rule over your body. And then you do rule over your children and your teams for people that are under you with the expectation you wouldn't ask them to do anything you wouldn't do. So you set situations in the golden rule that have them prosper based on the fact that you've set them up for success. You taught them the law is good, and it is good to keep the law. It is good to live the virtues, and it is good to love your neighbor. Show dignity to other people. So if you're running around saying I'm a Jew, and you do it to the indignity of another person, and you violate the Torah, no, you're not a Jew. You're fake. But if you keep the law, the Bible says pretty clear in the Old Testament, Ruth and Naomi, they join up. Your people are my people. So if you want to keep the law, the golden rule with me, I'll truck with you all day long.